Hey, welcome back to our Pain and Your Brain series. I'm Brian, hosting the series, and excited to talk to you today about a very key principle in the applied neuroscience world, how our brain is meant to function, and really something that we need to take care of if we want positive change in the brain. Neuroplasticity, as we know in the scientific literature, just proven time and time again to work when we take care of some important things. We're going to talk about that today. So the first thing that the brain thrives off of is fuel. This little organ weighs a couple pounds, 2-3 pounds maybe. Not a big percentage of your body weight, but it actually takes up a huge percentage of your calories. So metabolically, you can think about this as burning anywhere from 20 to 30% of your daily calories. That's a lot. And there's a reason that a lot of people think it's the most important organ in the body. It drives a lot of other functions and helps a lot of other organs function ideally or less than optimally. So fuel, we're talking about number one, oxygen, number two, glucose. So if you thought oxygen, breathing exercises might be important, spot on. Glucose, nutrition might be important, and getting some fast-acting glucose, especially under highly metabolically active things like neurotraining, brain training, doing your fitness stuff, whether that's sort of a movement practice or you think of it as going to the gym, whatever boat you're in on that, when you're gonna need that metabolic function and you need some good decision making, maybe it's cognitive processes and you're doing something really important at work, trying to get a project done, you also might need to think about oxygen and glucose. When we talk about the fueling pattern for the brain, it's bottom to top, and then it's back to front. And that's important because we need to understand that when we activate and fuel appropriately, we can actually use this pattern to help the areas that neighbor one another. And if we leave out this area down here, that's kind of like the gateway, the brainstem, gateway to the rest of the brain. You probably want to take care of activation along with your fuel for that brainstem if you want everything else to work well. If we got blockages here, you can see how that might block function and fuel to the rest of the brain. So really important to kind of understand that concept, whether you're after pain relief, you're after more in the rehab world, or if you are after performance, if you're in the strength training or just like performance overall, which a lot of people are, especially if you're still working age. And so the other model here, just wanted to give you a cool, colorful model. So it would be the same thing here. We have the brainstem, the cerebellum, and then moving on up to the different lobes in the brain. And so same fueling principle applies. Bottom to top, back to front. Areas that are next to each other influence on one another, meaning if we want better motor function, this red area is your motor cortex, and the one right next to it, and actually that gets fueled before it, is going to be your sensory cortex. So if you're properly fueled and we want to get the most out of your movement or motor drive, and that might even be something simple like typing on a keyboard. It doesn't have to be that you're out doing a CrossFit workout necessarily, but we want your sensory cortex to get nice activation and to have especially like key areas that you might be lacking activation. We want to make sure that we've done some assessment to figure out where those might be, give you fuel first and then some activation, and that's going to help your motor function because those are buddies. They're right next to each other in the brain and they're going to influence on one another. And you can also think about that back to front concept. Sensory gets fuel before motor does. So if we miss that and we just jump into movement, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. When you better understand applied neurology and some of these neuroscience principles, I think it can really help. So if this video helped, make sure that you like it. We need your support on the channel, which of course also means subscribe and share the video as well. Thanks.